Hello, my name is Ethan Pekolva, and I did my interview for Women in Leisure about my mother. I interviewed my mother. Um, my mother is 59 years old. She was born in 1959, and she she's very well. She was definitely affected by the feminist movement, I believe. Um, I asked pretty much all of the questions in the interview that you supplied me with, and nothing really surprised me because my mom is a very kind of open book in a way. Um, let's see. I know my mom very well, and I kind of knew all the answers that she was gonna say. Um, Let me see. My mom was a an immigrant from Philippines. She moved here when she was 19 by herself, and she ended up moving with some relatives here. Um, and she had numerous jobs. She was a hard worker, but my mom is a very independent woman. She raised me. My mom got divorced with my father when I was 7 years old, and she was a single mom. She worked, came home, took care of me, and then on every other weekend, my dad would have me. So it was very. My mom had a lot of responsibilities. um, but regarding feminist, my mom is very. So she was, as I said, she was very independent. She went to work and took care of me, and she told me basically that it was her job to take care of me and give me a standard of life. She repeatedly said that a new standard of life, um, was, for me was different than hers, and she tried to provide me with that standard. But she was very old school. Her father and her mother, my grandparents, really kind of, kind of, were they were definitely old school. My grandma stayed home and cooked, and my grandpa went off to work. But I also think that's partly because my grandma had 8 kids, so she didn't really have time to go to work. So, in a way, but I asked her about my grandma, and she said, she loved to cook during her free time for leisure, and leisure was more family duty. Free time was, doing always had to relate to doing something for the family. Um, I think it was amazing though, because my mom, uh, I know she was always like this. She told me she had the same attitude ever since I was small, and she always told me girls can do everything that guys can do, and she always believed this. And she was a very sporty woman. For her leisure, she would go out to work. Oh, I'm sorry. Work out at the gym. She would play sports, racquetball, tennis. I forget the other sport that she said. Uh, Softball. There you go. And those sports were important to her. So and when it came to discrimination, she didn't really experience it too much, except for the fact that she was kind of under the, state. I guess how. So all of her bosses were male, and all of her coworkers were female, and the division that for her career when she was actually working as a single woman before she was married to my dad. She worked for a tech company, and all of her coworkers were female, and they were working on the supply line, building microchips, and all of the technicians people who fixed the machines, the conveyor belts and everything were men, and basically all of the high ranking jobs were for men. And she noticed this, but uh, I had to get it out of her. The only thing she said was that she had a lead job. That was the only thing that she really noticed, that she was a lead in the building. And it it didn't really, I guess to her it was hammered in that males had a higher ranking job, and your boss was always going to be a male. And I asked her this question, and it remained true. All of her bosses were male, and she ended up marrying one of her bosses. All right, thank you. Yeah, and yeah.